everyone, it's Julianne here for Honeybee Stamps and welcome back. So as promised, I'm going to be taking the Let's Hang Out stamp set, but instead of creating a traditional fall card like I did in my last post, I'm going to be showing you how to create a Halloween inspired card just by changing up the colors that you use in order to color in the images. So I did start off by stamping a bunch of the images from the Let's Hang Out stamp set, and I stamped them all onto a sheet of Express It blending cardstock. And I used some Memento Tuxedo black ink, so that way I could do some Copic coloring. Now when I say all you have to do is change up the colors, so when I created my fall inspired card, I used colors that reminded me of fall. So I used some blues, browns, oranges, some dark, deep magenta colors. But for my Halloween inspired card, I'm going to be going a completely different route, and I'm going to be using traditional Halloween colors. So of course I'm going to be using some oranges, purples, of course some black, and I'm even going to add in some lime green to make my scarecrows look as though they are zombies. So that's what I'm going to be showing you here. So once I finish coloring in both of their faces, I'm then going to move on to coloring in their outfits using those traditional Halloween colors that I talked about earlier. I'm going to start coloring in the girl's shirt using some purple shades, and once I have her all colored in, I'm then going to be using my favorite orange color combination for the boy's shirt, and I'm also going to be using those same colors in order to color in all of those pumpkins as well. Once I have their shirts colored in, I'm then going to be using those same color combinations in order to color in the patches that are illustrated in both of their hats as well as their overalls. Once I have all of that colored in, I'm then going to start working on coloring in both the overalls for the boy as well as the dress for the girl, and I'm going to be coloring them in using my neutral grays in order to achieve the black color that I'm going for. Now you can of course use your black just Copic marker, but I like to include shading in my coloring, so that's why I'm going to be reaching for my neutral grays. So once I have all of my images colored in, I'm going to be using the coordinating dies for both stamp sets in order to cut out all of my images using my die cutting machine. Now I have colored in way more images than I end up using on my card for today, but that's okay. I'm just going to put those additional images off to the side and I'll use them for a card later on. Next, I'm going to start working on my background, and for that I'm going to be creating a night sky using the oval spotlight stencil set in order to create my spotlight scene onto my background. I'll also be using the circle spotlight stencil in order to create my moon in the corner. And finally, I'll be using the outdoor scene builder in order to create my night clouds. To create my scene, I'm going to be using some of my distress inks. I'll be using the colors Wilted Violet and Black Soot for my clouds, and I'll be using Mustard Seed for my moon. Once I have the first layer of clouds down using that Wilted Violet, I will then go back over the clouds again using the Black Soot in order to get my night sky a little bit darker. I will also be going around the borders of the oval spotlight stencil with both the Wilted Violet and Black Soot to really deepen and darken my spotlight area. Off camera, I did splatter some Black Soot distress paint as well as some Perfect Pearls throughout my background before removing my oval spotlight stencil, and then I'm just going to set my background off to the side to dry, and then I'll start working on assembling the rest of my card together. Now while I had my background off to the side drying, off camera I used the thin oval frame honey cuts in order to die cut out some black glitter cardstock, and I used one of those in order to add a frame around my scene in order to make sure that my oval spotlight really popped on my card. I also used the grass border die set in order to die cut out 2 different colors of green cardstock in order to create my grass down at the bottom of my scene. I'm going to be adhering both of those down to my background using some liquid adhesive, and then I'm going to start adhering all of those images that I colored in earlier. I'm going to start off by adhering the boy scarecrow to my background first, and I'm going to be adhering him directly to my background using some more of that liquid adhesive. Now I did adhere the girl scarecrow as well, but I decided to pop her up using some foam adhesive instead in order to give my card that little bit of added dimension. Finally, I'm going to be adhering a few of those pumpkins that I colored in earlier, as well as one of the crows down to the bottom of my scene as well, using some more of that foam adhesive. In order to finish off my card, I used the sentiment from the Fabulous Sentiment stamp set in order to stamp out Happy Halloween onto some purple colored cardstock, And I'm going to be adhering that to the bottom of my card front as well. And I'm going to be adhering a few of the star confetti mix sequins throughout my background. And then that's going to complete my Halloween Scarecrow card. I just love how this card turned out. I really enjoyed making this card, and I hope that you enjoyed it as well. Here I'm going to be showing you both of my cards side by side. So we have the fall-inspired one that I created the other week, and now we have my Halloween one that I've created here today. I just love both of them, and I love that I used the same exact stamp set. I've just colored them in completely different to give me two different scenes. Which card do you like better? Let me know down in the comments. I want to thank you all so much for stopping by and spending some time with me. I really do appreciate it. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, as well as subscribe for even more card making ideas. If you're interested in any of the supplies I used today, they will all be listed and linked down below in the description box. And as always, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you next time, and happy crafting!